Good evening and welcome to Prime Business. My name is Winston Taki and out of our first business story. Ghana is now left with some $700 million to get from the IMF before it completes the fund program next year. There is more in this following report.
Ghana has so far received some $2.3 billion out of the $3 billion that the country is supposed to get under the program. The amount received since the country signed up to the program reached this level after the fund disbursed the fourth tranche of cash to the Bank of Ghana yesterday. But the remaining funds will not come free as government is still left with some structural reforms to undertake. This is because the funds will be tied to Ghana meeting some benchmark before those funds will be released. President John Mahama recently disclosed that Ghana will not extend the IMF program when it comes to an end in May 2026. The fund program is seeking to help Ghana correct some structural challenges facing the economy, including high debt levels and low revenue mobilization drive. However, for some, it may only be after the fund program that a true assessment can be done about its success.
Now, economist Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie is asking government to direct significant amounts of IMF cash to the agricultural sector. It follows news that government could in the coming weeks start drawing down the $367 million IMF funds from the Bank of Ghana to finance some budget projects. Dr. Owusu-Sarkodie says focusing on this sector could greatly turn around the fortunes of the economy.
As you are aware, if you take a look at the 2025 budget, the government is not committing itself so much to huge expenditures. They are containing expenditure. They want to stay within the budget, make things tight. And so the sectors that stand out that could get funding or being financed by the IMF released will be maybe first to agriculture production, because we want to contain food inflation. You don't want food prices to increase that much. You want to ensure food security. And so, well, we advocate that a greater part of it should go to agriculture. And then, you know, if you read the IMF documents, they have been praising the government of Ghana for securing or cushioning the poor and the vulnerable in society. So all the social intervention programs which has been listed, the free SHS, capitation grant, livelihood empowerment against poverty, school feeding program, etc., etc. So I believe that another part, a greater part of the money should go into cushioning the poor and the vulnerable in society. We know how tight things have been. Especially also with the quarterly adjustment of tariffs, the impact on business, the impact on us. So agriculture and safety nets should take the lead in terms of which items will be on top of the scale of preference.
News coming in this evening is that the Bank of Ghana has directed all virtual asset service providers to register their services with Central Bank or shutdown after August 15, 2025. This was contained in a statement issued by the regulator a while ago. Let's get more details from my colleague, George Biafe, who joins me in studio. First, help us understand who are these virtual service asset providers, George?
So basically, you want to classify them as any institution that is operating in the Bitcoin industry. When it comes to those who are trading Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, any firm that is operating in this space, that is what the Bank of Ghana is asking them to move now to kickstart the process to register your services with the Bank of Ghana.
Why is the Central Bank doing this?
So, you know, the Bank of Ghana recently announced that they are trying to come out with regulations to cover those who operate in this space. So it is part of that process in trying to regulate the sector, come out with regulations and all the rest. But before they even come out in issuing licenses and all those things, they really want to identify everyone that is in this space. Now, if you go through a statement that the Bank of Ghana has issued a while ago, they talk about the fact that pursuant to its mandate of maintaining a financial stability and consistent with its efforts of promoting integrity, innovation, and consumer protection in the digital ecosystem, the Bank of Ghana requires that all virtual asset providers, VABs operating within the jurisdiction of the Republic of Ghana should register at the bank. And this registration is part of the preliminary regulatory process to identify and assess entities engaging in the virtual assets activity, including but not limited to the virtual asset exchange services, wallet provision, custody, and then transfer settlement involving the virtual assets. So these are more of any entity that is providing crypto services. The Bank of Ghana is saying that do this thing before August 15, 2025.
I'm hearing some sanctions are a tagline under this direction.
So, of course, again, if you go through the statement from what the Bank of Ghana has actually released as well, and it says that the deadline for registration is 15th August 2025. Now, members of the public are reminded that registration is compulsory. You don't have an option. Failure to comply may result in regulatory sanction and disqualification from future licenses. So this is not a license. Just register with them. If you don't do that, there is no way you have a license to go ahead. Registration doesn't constitute a license. If you go through the statement again, it says that to operate, nor does it imply a legal recognition of your approval. The Bank of Ghana reserves the right to also issue further directives based on the outcome of this. So they're saying that the fact that you are registered with them shouldn't give you the go-ahead to even still engage in that space. We want to identify a Winston & Co. company there engaging, offering services, and you're taking your payment in cryptocurrency. Go and register with the Bank of Ghana.
Certainly, we'll be breaking down in subsequent discussion. Thank you so much, George Wiafe, for bringing us that insight from the central bank. Now, moving on, the finance minister has given the firm assurance that he will move fast to complete the recapitalization of Agricultural Development Bank. The finance minister argued that this is to ensure that the bank plays the rightful role in the economy. The ministry disclosed this at the swearing-in of new board members for the bank.
I want to reiterate the point that no country develops without sustained agriculture and agribusiness. And so you are put together to develop the sector. At all times, you should be able to agree at the board level that at the minimum, 30 to 40% of your investment and lending must be targeted to the sector. I recognize that you will need to recapitalize. I want to use this medium to assure you, board chairman, and to assure the chief executive and the management of the ADB that, as I've done for the NIB this year, next year will be your turn, and I will capitalize you properly for you to be able to achieve what you are supposed to achieve as your mandate. Agric Development Bank has evolved over the years, but regardless, remember your core mandate, and as a government, we commit to recapitalize you, make you strong, and refocus you back into agriculture.
Moving on, the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, has observed laws incurring public institutions who regulate their operations tend to shift the financial strains onto the businesses. According to regional manager of AGI, Thompson Apam Atibila, such institutions perceived as corrupt utilize opaque regulations that intimidate businesses to comply without questioning. The association is calling for transparency in implementation of laws to tackle corruption in trade and businesses in Ghana. Here is more from Clinton Yeboah.
The Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition's analysis of Ghana's score on the Corruption Perception Index has shown that Ghana's fight against corruption has stagnated over the past 4 years. Assessing Ghana's corruption crisis from the lenses of trade and business, Regional Minister for the Association of Ghana Industries in Ashanti, Bono and Ahafo Region, Thomas Apam, noted that the unclear laws enable officials to evade accountability through intimidation. The association leader is urging clearer law education and communication reforms to ensure transparency.
There should be transparency in government activities, especially in offering of contracts. I made a comment here at the program that the laws of the country should be simple and transparent so that anybody can understand. It seems they've given it some shield article, what obligo, what, then everybody is scared. If I understand it, I will follow it. It is this shield that is giving a room for people to influence others for money, causing the corruption. For example, when we import our items, you have to credit at either at Tema or Takrady. You pay the same as somebody operating in Takrady. But when you are coming to Kumasi, every custom barrier you pay again. Why didn't you pay the right amount at Tema? So why is somebody in Kumasi paying more? It's through corruption. Because if I'm selling my item or producing in Tema, obviously I will not cross any barrier on the way to Kumasi. You understand? So it should be transparent. We should understand it so that we can stand for our rights.
The Africa Center for Energy Policy, in collaboration with the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition and Transparency International Ghana, organized and executed the forum to assess Ghana's anti-corruption endeavors. It engaged CSOs, coalitions, trade unions and pressure groups to support anti-corruption actions. Meanwhile, President of the Federation of Kumasi Traders, Nana Kwesi Prempeh, says the persistent corruption landscape is deepening marginalization in access to economic and social services. He advocated for the heightening of public awareness among grassroots populations.
Most of us feel that there's sometimes marginalization. Those who are in the upper class are given preferential treatments than those in the lower class. And so when those in the lower class want to access the services of those in the public sector, it always pushes us to pay something before we enjoy those services. I think if we put mechanisms in place to ensure that those in the state agencies work fairly, I think it will deter people from paying for the service that they offer onto us. We see corruption as a norm. We all see it as a norm. So if the education about fighting corruption is being decentralized and they bring it down to the local level, I think it is going to help, because if everybody have a fair knowledge of, if I do this, it's a form of corruption, I think it will help.
For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yawa.
Now, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Professional Studies, Accra, Professor John Kweku Mauto, is urging the insurance industry to uphold strict professionalism and ethical standards. Speaking at the 2025 induction ceremony of the Chartered Institute of Insurance, Ghana, he said restoring public trust depends on strong ethical leadership and accountability. He called on the institute to lead reforms that ensured credibility across the sector.
Speaking at the 2025 Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana induction ceremony, Professor Mauto stressed the urgent need for the insurance industry to commit to higher ethical standards. He said the credibility and trustworthiness of the sector depends on strict adherence to professionalism.
The theme for this year's induction, Insurance for Ghana's Prosperity, redefining standards and building confidence, is both timely and profound. In any thriving economy, insurance plays a pivotal role.
Vice President of the Institute, Yvonne Osei-Ado, pledged to restore discipline and confidence in the sector.
We need a resilient financial ecosystem, okay? And then insurance is part of it. Insurance is one of the vital features. But then before insurance can be a potential to building a resilient ecosystem, we need to address a few issues concerning transparency, professionalism, and then the trust we have in the industry.
Now, the cocoa processing company says it is expanding rapidly into major African markets like Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa with their Ghana-made products. The expansion drive is to help turn the country's premium cocoa into product, enabling Ghana to tap into the multi-billion-dollar industry beyond the African market. Sales and marketing manager of cocoa processing company Nana Ajiman Anson disclosed this in an interview with correspondent Kwame Yanka.
Speaking at the 2020
in a bid to boost intra-African trade and put Ghana-made cocoa products on the continental map, cocoa processing company CPC Intema is expanding its market footprint. CPC says it has already secured certifications for some products from the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat. The company has entered the Kenyan, Nigerian, and South African markets. Najiman Anson is a sales and marketing manager of cocoa processing company.
The all-time, one of the variants is already certified, and so it's entering Africa, and we are poised to push the product into every part of east, west, and south of Africa, and that is the plan. So we are very serious about it. In fact, we are in Nigeria now, which is a very huge and important economy in Africa. We have also entered to Kenya, and we are dealing with South Africa now. And so very soon, we hope to spread out in everywhere in Africa, because it is interesting to let you know that Ghana is one peculiar country that does not only produce the cocoa, but is also able to transform this cocoa into products like this by the Ghanaians themselves, not as an expatriate company, not as a multinational, but a company that is made in Ghana. And that is something I want us to appreciate and encourage and grow as indigenes of this country to reach out and become the giants of Africa.
Meanwhile, Najiman Anson indicated the market expansion also promises big wins for Ghana's job market, touching on the 24-hour economy.
If I tell you the installed capacity for all-time instant drinking chocolate, you'll be amazed. It is huge. And so we can sell to the whole of Africa. And as the market grows, as the markets expand, we're already doing a 24-hour, but it will expand vertically and horizontally. Within that 24-hour framework, you expect to see more people being employed and engaged to produce more of this, because now we're not only in Ghana, but we're targeting the whole of Africa and some parts of Europe. So, but for now, our focus is Africa, and our focus is to increase demand. And once the demand increase, shouldn't be surprised for CPC to employ a lot of people. The unemployment, whatever the level, we will also contribute to reducing it to another level.
Unlike many multinationals, cocoa processing company says its success can only be claimed by Ghanaians, as both raw materials and human capital are sourced locally. Kwame Yankes reports for Joy Business.
Now, away from the cocoa sector, the SME Ghana Awards are back, and they are focused on real impact, not just recognition. At the launch of the awards headlined by telecom giant MTN in Accra, Executive Director of SME Grow Africa, Kwesi Ofori Jr., announced that the awards have been upgraded. Instead of cash prizes, winners will now receive long-term business support designed to help them grow and compete globally. The goal is to position Ghana's SMEs for success on the world stage.
The SME Ghana Awards is designed to spotlight and support exceptional small businesses in Ghana and have now evolved into a full-scale development program. Executive Director of SME Grow Africa, Kwesi Ofori Jr. says shortlisted SMEs will undergo a rigorous selection process, followed by mentorship and technical support from global experts, including those from the Netherlands and India, as well as access to European Union-backed funding and new market opportunities.
SMEGA don't do monetary rewards. We rather convert all our, say, the monetary values to real tangibles or intangible assets that can help a business grow. So, for example, in the past, we help businesses go through a mini MBA class for about 3 months. They graduate and get an MBA, mini MBA certifications. They are taught the processes when you want to build a business. When it comes to governance, with negotiation, marketing, brand positioning, product branding, all these things to go, and it helps them to grow.
Kwesi Ofori also highlighted the success stories of past beneficiaries like Nova Wellness and Izo Kishika, businesses that have grown through SMEGA's hands-on support. He believes that strategic investment in capacity building is key to unlocking the full value that SMEs offer Ghana's economy.
If you take a look at one business, Nova Wellness Center, is one such example, who have grown through the process, and we are so much happy about what she's doing now in the space. Yesli Isaac Kushika, same, and then Bidite from Tamale, who even during the COVID had to have meeting with the World Bank, where then Angela Merkel for Germany and then our former president were discussing the SME space on what can we do to support SMEs during the COVID time. So these are the things we talk about. Some of them have won cars from GIPC partnership. Some of them have been able to scale to go to other markets through our other partnership affiliates we have globally. So these are some of the things we're talking about. We believe that if we position them the right way, give them the right resources and tools, the value they generate, the value they get, no amount of monetary gains or cash would give them that very incentives.
With SMEGA's new direction, Ghana's small businesses aren't just winning awards, they are gaining the tools and networks to thrive locally and globally.
Peace and governance analyst at United Development Programme, UNDP, Melody Azinim, has emphasized the importance of peace in the development of the country. He asserted that if there is no peace, there is no way there will be any kind of development, as the situation drives away investors, which will be a drawback to the country's development. Melody Azinim was speaking at a two-day private sector investment opportunity forum held in WA in the Upper West region. Joy News correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from WA.
The National Development Planning Commission, NDPC, in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, has developed an investment strategy toolkit aimed at supporting 8 districts across the regions in northern Ghana, including the Upper West region. Among the selected metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies, MDAs, benefiting from this initiative in the Upper West region are Sasala West and Wa West districts. The toolkit is designed to help these MDAs identify their comparative advantages, attract investments, and boost domestic revenue mobilization. The peace and governance analyst at UNDP, Melody Azinim, spoke of the objectives of the project.
So the project seeks to ensure that women and young people in particular are actively involved in decision-making and peace-building processes, but ultimately also ensuring that we have peace and development within our communities, more specifically to the targeted communities that the project is being implemented.
She observed that peace is critical and a benchmark to wooing investments.
Peace is important. You know, if there's no peace, there's no way there would be any kind of development. Because once there's violence, I mean, there's shooting, there's burning of houses, everybody's running away. So peace is critical to our development, you know, as a country and globally. We can all attest to the fact that it is because of insecurities that we are having people coming into our countries, you know. So that tells you how important peace is to our own development.
Charles Kongulu is a principal planning analyst who represented the Director General of the National Development Planning Commission.
The commitment to spatial equity is why we are all here today. For too long, economic opportunity has remained heavily concentrated in just a few regions and cities. Meanwhile, regions like the Upper East, Upper West, and Northeast regions that have been the focus of the peace-building projects are endowed with rich agricultural potential, artisanal heritage, renewable energy resources, and resilient human capital, particularly in the youth and women.
Some participants shared their thoughts on the program.
I appreciate. I came here and I learned a lot. The program was good for me because of my business, but I have it. So I used shea butter and produce shower gel and shampoo.
This is an interesting program. I think planning is very important in whatever you are going to do. And looking at the presentation the districts are making, one can comfortably look at the area you think you can also fit in.
Reporting for UN News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
That's all for business here on Prime Business. My name is Winston Taki. Thanks for watching. Up next is Prime Sports.